Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, help us out. Subscribe, enable notifications, everything you got to do in YouTube, or subscribe through your streaming service right now, because we are the show that we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out. If you're sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game, stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create your wrestler. Sign contracts. Get involved in storylines. Headline pay-per-views, even build your own corporation, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shoutouts like my buddy Mike in Lansdale, then go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Fro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Loyalty rewards are in play. $15 a month contributor, you can co-host an episode. $7.50 month contributors, you can go into a drawing to also co-host an episode of a live show, and we'll see if we can get you involved as part of our interactiveness throughout this episode, because we are live right now. Tune into whatever chat function you have in your streaming service. Get us questions, get us comments, send them to us right now. We are live. If you got a question you just don't want to get in right now, you want to hold it for another episode, maybe you want me to do some research for you on something, that's fine. Text us at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160. Give us your questions, your comments, anything you want us to go over, and we will try to get that into a future episode. Don't forget, if you're new to the Pro Wrestling Podcast, you've never tuned in before, I don't know what you've been thinking. You've been missing out, but that's okay. We're glad to have you now. Check out our homepage, frowrestling.com. Preview the topics coming to the show. Come up with your questions. Come up with your comments. And then when we have one of these live shows, pop on and be a part of the show. We love to include our listeners in our episodes. So tonight, talking a lot of topics. It's been a crazy week. All Elite Wrestling has a television show, and it is set to debut October 1st on TNT. It's like the Monday Night Wars all over again, except it's not Monday nights, and there is no war. We don't even know what to expect out of All Elite Wrestling, except that they keep signing incredible talent, they keep booking great matches for Double or Nothing, and if you're not familiar with the people who are participating with All Elite Wrestling, you're missing out. They are putting together a lineup for that show that is going to rival WrestleMania. It's going to rival Wrestle Kingdom, and that's saying something, because Wrestle Kingdom has been the wrestling action for the last several years as far as in-ring quality. That's what they're shooting for here with All Elite Wrestling. No more nonsense, not as much talking, some storylines that make sense, and wrestling action that you'll appreciate. Now look, that's all the promises they're making, but that doesn't mean they're going to deliver on those. But you know what? You're not going to know unless you tune in and check out the show. Now, anybody who still wants tickets, I got 4 tickets still posted on eBay for sale. Click the link at the top of frowrestling.com if you want to grab those. And if not, check out the websites that sell tickets on the resale market. Get some tickets, get to the show. It is going to be incredible. But after that, we already know they have a show booked in July. It's going to be a great opportunity for them to do some charity work, and then we're going to see the show debut in October. Now, this is huge. I know there's been conjecture and conversation about All Elite Wrestling. Are they legit? Are they just some startup that's not going to matter? Is it going to fizzle out and fade away? Obviously not. That's a major deal going on a major network, TNT, and they're going to be going the first Tuesday night after WWE makes the switch for SmackDown to move to Friday nights, and that's why it's going to be so lucrative. You tune into television on Tuesday night like you're used to doing for all this time for SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live's not on TV. You still want to get your wrestling fix? You're going to tune into AEW on a major network television, and you're going to see production value, supposedly. I say supposedly because let's face it, we haven't seen it yet, but they are claiming they're going to have incredible production value on par with WWE. I hope, this is just my dream, that we don't get something like Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling. No offense to those companies. I think the in-ring action in Ring of Honor and Impact lately have been off the charts for a while now. That's not the issue. When I watch Ring of Honor, I feel like I'm watching a good version of ECW. That's really what it feels like, the look of the show. When I tune into Impact Wrestling, I don't see anything that even comes close to WWE production value. As a matter of fact, I would argue that original TNA, going way back to its beginning with Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles and Ron Killings and Ken Shamrock and all those guys, I would argue that production value is better than what we get from Impact Wrestling. Now, just the production, not the in-ring quality. I think the matches right now in Impact are incredible, but All Elite Wrestling is talking about a legit product with great production. I hope they have pyro. I hope they have something that resembles a Titantron, something that makes it feel like we're watching a legit #1 rated television program. They don't have to compete with WWE. I saw today that there was a quote online that fans are looking for an alternative. That's what they want. That's what we need to give them, is an alternative. Not that they're going to stop watching WWE. And gosh, as a wrestling fan, I hope you never stop watching WWE. I get it, they're a huge conglomerate and all that stuff, but we can argue big corporate stuff online somewhere else when we talk politics. I'm not doing politics here. I'm talking about as a wrestling fan, a diehard fan. I want to see great in-ring action, and that's what All Elite Wrestling looks like they're going to be bringing us. That being said, what's next for Jon Moxley? Look, we've had conversations since he announced he was going to leave WWE. What could he do? And All Elite Wrestling has seemed like the logical choice, especially when you found out that they were offering him $6 million. But a report came out this week that Impact Wrestling is making an aggressive push to sign him. But in the meantime, he has already accepted some independent dates, or he's booking independent dates, I should say, and he's shooting a movie, Cage Fighter, which at some point when that wraps filming, that's when he thinks he's going to make his return to the wrestling ring. He is clearly not done with wrestling, but he's going to go through the process, go through that movie, get that filmed. There's going to be a lot of mixed martial arts star from UFC and other promotions in that movie. I know Anderson Silva is going to be a part of that, and several other superstars. That'll be interesting to see his real acting debut, but we all know what we want. We want to see him in the ring. And the question is, where will he go that he gets the kind of matches, the quality of matches that we've come to expect from him? And I don't think you can do that necessarily just anywhere. He can't show up in Ring of Honor and do that. Yes, could he have great matches with Jay Lethal? Absolutely. Could he have a good match with Matt Taven? Absolutely. But that's not something we're looking forward to with his mainstream appeal. Now, if you put him in the ring with somebody like Brian Cage or Johnny Impact, I would like to see that. Can you put him in the ring with somebody like Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho? Absolutely, and I would love to see that. What I don't need to see is something on a lower scale. I know he's not about the money, so maybe he would take one of those smaller companies and try to make them grow. Maybe he's interested in going to Japan for a little while, just trying that out, seeing how that works. I doubt it with his wife being here in the States and touring with WWE, but you never know. The guy is motivated, it sounds like, by the creation of his Jon Moxley character and him being able to be in control of that character. So it's going to be very interesting to watch to see where he goes next. And right now, outside of shooting the movie, there is no indicator of what he's doing. A big story that's been out all week has been about Lars Sullivan. So for those who have been hiding under a rock or have no connection to professional wrestling news sites other than this show, Lars Sullivan, you know he's been getting this massive push in WWE. He's just this human destroyer. And up until last week, I really thought he was the kind of guy you could strategically position to be the next Brock Lesnar. He really could. As a matter of fact, there's a little piece of me who was kind of hoping that if he kept being built the way he was as this monster heel, you'd see Lesnar take a face turn and it would be he and Lesnar next year and he could retire Lesnar at Mania. That does not sound much like a reality anymore now that all these incredibly offensive, racist, homophobic conversations that he posted on a bodybuilding website and he put out there for everybody to see several years ago, 2014, 2015, making fun of Kofi Kingston, making fun of intergender wrestling, making fun of women, making fun of Latinos, making fun of everything you can possibly think of. And what a horrible situation, especially considering WWE has already been patient with this guy when he had his mental health issues and everything else. They've just been waiting for him to become a member of the roster. He finally gets there, and then this is everywhere. Now, what's more interesting to me is when it was first broke, of course, the first person who responded was Big E. Somebody directed it at Big E. What did he think? And he was very clear that many people in WWE are aware of this, that he's going to have to be uncomfortable working with, many minorities in the WWE, which is great because WWE is very diverse now. However, now WWE has fined Lars Sullivan $100,000 and they're making him go to cultural sensitivity training. Now, I don't know what that does because, look, I understand if you throw an off-color thing here or there, okay? And I'm not justifying in any way doing that. But if a celebrity of sorts were to do that, I understand going to sensitivity training and getting some things taken care of, and maybe you're more clear of thought, and you could do some things to try to earn the trust of the people you have offended and try to show that you've really learned something about yourself. The problem I have is when you look at the litany of things that he said, that seems like it's deeply ingrained in his psyche. Like, that's a part of the fabric of who he is. That's what it seems like. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to defame the guy, but this is the stuff that's put out there. Now, no one has proven that it was him that posted it, but if you look at the account, look at the history of the person who wrote these things, pictures of him when he was younger, in the bodybuilding scene, early conversations with other people that have been verified. So it seems like it's pretty overwhelming. And he actually came out and apologized and said how that doesn't represent the person that he is today. Well, we're talking about 2014, 2015. That's really not that long ago. What kind of revolution has he gone through that he has such a drastic change now? I don't know that there is a change. I think now it is, hey, I went through this whole issue where I was trying to get on the main roster. Now I finally made it there. I better say something so I don't lose my spot. Well, guess what? Maybe too little too late. Because this is not okay. This is a man who owes it to many communities to make amends. And this is a person who should not be pushed anytime soon if anything that was in that list is accurate. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go online. Pop on Facebook. Do a Google search, whatever, about Lars Sullivan comments, and you'll see the entire litany of things that were written out. It was all off of Reddit. There was a Reddit user who posted all these things with links. So you can go and see exactly what he was saying. It's horrific stuff. So hopefully there's a positive outcome to all this, but right now I'm a little surprised that he's even being promoted at all. If I was WWE, this would be like, hey, you're off television for a while. We need to figure this out. And for some reason, that's not the case yet. Congratulations go out to Jake Hager winning his second mixed martial arts bout for Bellator this week. He ended up submitting another person. Now, here's the thing. There was some flack on him at the end of the fight. He's got the guy in a submission hold, and the guy taps out, but he thinks it's the referee. He doesn't realize it's the actual guy tapping out. He feels the contact, but doesn't realize the guy's tapping. Didn't release the hold right away, and some people got very upset with him, stating that they think he held onto his chokehold too long. Look, in the moment, it was only a fraction of a second to begin with. I don't know what I would have thought, but I have to take him at his word. The guy has no reason to BS us about this. It seems legitimate. It seems like he was just in the moment, distracted, and didn't release the hold as quickly as he could have. The guy was not injured. It was a great win for him. He's off to a 2-0 start in mixed martial arts. Maybe he'll go on to be something legit going forward. I would love to see him and Ryan Bader at some point. I don't think he's ready for that yet. But what is the possibilities for him going forward? Now, he has talked about recently the potential for going to All Elite Wrestling. I'd be in favor of that. Good luck to him. I think he has so much more he could offer the wrestling world, and he got stifled in WWE. They didn't really promote him the way they could have, or let him do the things that he was good at in the ring on a frequent enough basis. And now it would be nice to see him take this fame he's generating in the mixed martial arts world and translate that back into the wrestling world. See, you get to start in mixed martial arts because of his credibility in wrestling, but now it's kind of going the other direction. He's got 2 wins under his belt. He's not CM Punk, who lost his first 2 fights. He's won his first 2 fights. He's not Brock Lesnar, who was handed a UFC championship opportunity so early and all that. He's working his way through the right way, kind of the way Bobby Lashley did until his career stalled because they didn't give him a good enough fight. And now, hopefully, we'll get to see something more of him. I hope that he does nothing but shoot to the top. And you know what? He was an incredible amateur wrestler. He's got the background. He works very hard in his training camps. Good luck to him. I hope he does well. Former Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Cruiserweight Champion Austin Aries has signed with MLW. That's a huge get for them as far as talent is concerned and brand name recognition. The issue people are having is this guy has now got a reputation for being impossible to work with just about everywhere he's been. Impact Wrestling, WWE, Ring of Honor. He has all these stories of how difficult he is to wrestle. It's almost like a microcosm of Hulk Hogan's issue where he kind of lives his character too much. Austin Aries, way too protective of his vision for the creativeness of his character. I hope that MLW isn't making a hasty signing here and grabbing somebody because so many other talents are being scooped up by other promotions. But what I find amazing here is we got All Elite Wrestling ready to debut. WWE, I don't want to say concerned, but certainly worried enough that they're trying to sign big money contracts for a lot of their guys. And then you see, really the signings for AEW and WWE slowed for a while there, and Impact and MLW and those companies, Ring of Honor, have been swooping in and grabbing talent. New Japan hasn't really gotten in on the game very much lately, but all the North American-based promotions have really been, a lot of them, scooping up talent, great talent, and that could only be good for the wrestling fans. Now, I hope that all these companies find constructive ways to use these guys. I'd love to see a fight with Aries and Lawler down in MLW for their championship, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens. He's been off the television since his little blow up and issue at the Impact Wrestling show Bound for Glory last fall, but we'll have to wait and see. But at least they have a big star coming to MLW. It has been verified. Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, they're a thing. They're an item. I love seeing people like Rusev and Lana online complaining about it. I saw one tweet from Rusev saying, I wonder if they're going to get in trouble. And I thought it was funny. Seth Rollins sent a message back to him on Twitter saying, well, you can't get in trouble. It's Rusev Day. Nobody gets in trouble on Rusev Day, which I thought was awesome. But good for them. They're a cute couple and they hold all the gold. What more could you possibly ask for? Former Impact Wrestling star has begun training at the WWE Performance Center. We're talking about DJZ, Zema Ion. If you have not seen his work because you've been tuned out of Impact Wrestling, I know for a while there they were going through some transition and their product wasn't as good as it had been in the past. He is fantastic. I find it even more interesting that he's there when Robbie E is there. If WWE wanted to, because there is some brand name recognition with them, they could really put them together again. I doubt that they'll do that. They've already got a position laid out for Robbie E right now, but it's something I wouldn't close the door on. Now all we need is to get, Jesse Goddard to go there and you could reunite the whole team, but the bromance, but I'm glad to see him get another shot at WWE. I think they need to really focus on building 205 Live to a more substantial place, building the NXT roster, and giving some flavor for some surprise appearances for NXT UK. And they're talking about NXT over in Germany. There's a lot of things they're going to need, a lot of talents they're going to need. We'll have to wait and see if he becomes a part of those plans. But in the meantime, another great get for WWE. They keep signing these incredible wrestlers. Shane Strickland a few weeks ago. People like that. Ivelisse Velez was there. So hopefully WWE continues the acquisition, but finds a way to better showcase these talents. They're creative writers. I mean, I've seen stories this week about how they're literally in tears at fan reaction to what they write. But the reality is they're neutered. The word out this week on various outlets, Ringside News, all of them, talking about how even Triple H, Stephanie, Bruce Pritchard, all these people who have heavy influence, Shane McMahon, on Vince, are being shut down. Vince is just not listening to suggestions, and he thinks he knows the better way to promote wrestling. And I know he's had the pulse of the wrestling audience for a very long time, but I feel like he's getting to the point where he's starting to lose people, and he needs to be open and transparent with other talent who have other ideas. Because let's face it, the most successful brand, maybe not in dollars and cents because they're not promoted on television, don't have a TV deal, but the most successful from I would say a fan perspective brand in WWE is NXT, and that's run by Triple H. So maybe it's time to listen to some of his ideas and come up with new creative ways to present the product. Because what's happening right now is we're bringing these incredible talents up from NXT to the main roster and they're floundering. Why is Ricochet being beaten by Baron Corbin? Why is he even in the ring with Baron Corbin? If you're not going to put him over, he's brand new to the roster, don't put him in that match. Don't put him in that situation. You could have put Apollo Crews with him and had Baron Corbin get a win and saved Ricochet for something else where he doesn't get pinned. Keep the guy strong. He came up with so much fanfare, and you're already burying the guy. Like I don't get that. SmackDown tonight, watching Andrade pick up a win is great, but at the expense of what? Ali getting buried, other talents getting buried. I get it. We're heading into Money in the Bank, and you got to have certain guys look good heading into the show, especially since Andrade sounds like he is the favorite to win Money in the Bank, which could only be good for the quality of wrestling on SmackDown, but I don't like to see any new talent on the main roster get buried. I don't. I'm tired of that. They put so much time in NXT to cultivate a character and get a real following to come to the main roster to get buried. I'm happy for Tyler Breeze going back to NXT. Hopefully he does better down there. That's not the case with the people coming up. So hopefully we'll see that trend change just a little bit. Impact Wrestling star Killer Kross was in the news this week. He requested his release. So the understanding is his original contract he signed last year was a per-appearance contract, and he wants out of the deal so he can seek a more substantial guarantee and regular employment, regular appearances. All Elite Wrestling's out there, WWE's out there, other people are listening for his services. Now, Impact Wrestling has not granted it. They've denied his request, mainly because they said, listen, when you were signed here, nobody wanted you. We gave you an opportunity. Now that other people are coming knocking, you want to bolt on us right away? No, you're going to work out your contract. And good for them. I've said this all along, whether it's the Sasha Banks issue or anybody else. If you got a contract, you agreed to terms. Follow through. Look, I can't call up my mortgage company and be like, you know what? Peace out. I'm not paying you. We made a deal. You have to live up to your deal. You know? I can go get another mortgage company, but I got to pay closing costs, all this other stuff. No. You make a deal, live up to your deal. Unless a better deal comes along and your other company is willing to let you out. WWE sometimes grants the releases. They haven't been lately. Now Impact Wrestling is getting in on the game. Not just releasing cut wrestlers because they're unhappy. No, you signed on, do your deal. Now Lucha Underground is different. You sign with them under the understanding that they're going to showcase your talent, and then they don't show you for forever. That's different. I'm okay with every single talent on the Lucha Underground roster asking for the release. Because let's face it, they're not really a company if they're not on television at all anymore. Season 5 has not even been announced yet. They can't record the matches because they haven't even announced whether or not they're coming back or not. Which is bizarre considering it was the highest rated show on El Rey Network. We'll have to wait and see how that changes. But Killer Kross stuck with Impact Wrestling. And you know what? Kudos to Impact for sticking to their guns. WWE Super Showdown was announced this week. That's the name for the Saudi Arabia show on the 7th. Goldberg versus The Undertaker, the main event of the show. Randy Orton versus Triple H is on the show. 50-man battle royal. I think they did that so they don't take away some of the luster of the Royal Rumble by having another 50-man greatest Royal Rumble. I like the battle royal idea. I just think that's too many guys for one 20-foot by 20-foot ring. I think that's a little crazy. There's other rumored matches like the rematch between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar, Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston, various matches that are supposedly going to take place on the card. Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. We'll have to wait and see if those are made official, but at least it looks like, if for nothing else, we're going to get to see what we always wanted to see maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, Goldberg versus The Undertaker. It was funny, Goldberg on his Twitter feed actually put up, this would have been a dream match. It would have been great to have it 10 years ago, but, at least we're getting to it. It's a little later than we would have liked, but he's preparing like he's still in his 30s. More power to him. And people are giving a hard time because he's, I'm sure, getting the Brinks truck backed up to pay for him to come out of retirement to come have this match. But who cares? We're not talking about a 63-year-old Ric Flair coming out for a match. We're talking about a 50-year-old Bill Goldberg who got himself jacked up to come back and become Universal Champion. We're talking about an Undertaker who only 6 months ago, we were talking about how he's in the best shape of his life, better shape than he had been in like 15 years. So if he really is in that much better shape, and if you watch the pictures he was putting online with the fitness supplement that he's been taking, the dietary program he's been on, he's lost a ton of weight too. He looks great. So why wouldn't we endorse a match? Yes, would we have loved to have had it when WCW closed? Of course we would have. Or maybe when Goldberg came to WWE. Of course we would have, but we didn't get that. But we're getting it now. Let's take the best and make the best of what we're getting. This could be, surprisingly, good match. And rumor has it, WWE doesn't want it to be a 2-minute squash match. They want it to be a more substantial match. I hope they find a way to craft a well-designed match. I hope, the beautiful thing about this situation is when there's a big profile match, The Undertaker likes to really script out his matches. He has a ring at his home. I'm sure he has probably contacted Goldberg and they said, hey, look, let's go over the match. Let's really put something together that's going to be incredible. I hope they're doing that. And I hope the match goes off without a hitch. I really do. And I hope they both look great in the ring. And I hope it's not the last time we see either one of them. Maybe I'm just a mark. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. I'm a huge fan of big stars. All these people who complain about these part-timers coming back and taking the spotlight, yes, they are. You know why? Because none of the talents are reaching for the brass ring anymore. I'll reference the brass ring. Drew McIntyre's trying. He's going for it. Seth Rollins is going for it. AJ Styles is going for it. After that, maybe Daniel Bryan. Most of the other talents are kind of like flying by the seat of their pants. There's not the same mentality as old school wrestling anymore. There's a few guys who are trying to push through things. A lot of other guys are just happy to have a contract. They're happy to be making good money in WWE. Well, that sounds great. I want people who want to be world champion, not because they're going to legitimately beat somebody, because we all know it's scripted, but somebody who knows that hard work and dedication leads to the company noticing you, and they put you in a position to be successful and to be the main event. I think that's huge, and hopefully we get some more of that. By the way, don't forget to support independent wrestling. Check out on FroWrestling.com the Indie Events tab at the top of the page, where I have links to all sorts of independent shows all over the country. Look for a show coming to an area near you. You got to get that one-to-one experience of an indie show. Got to do it. Support indie wrestling. Last thing of the night, and I apologize to end on such a somber note, but it is what it is. You know, I would be remiss if I did not mention the passing of 51-year-old luchador Silver King. Silver King competed all over the world, a lot in AAA. He was in WCW for a short period of time, competing with people like Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, who I feel so horrible for Juventud. He was the man he was in the ring with, competing with when he passed away, had a heart attack in the ring. And I'll tell you, one of the things that's really frustrating is there are people online right now who have been reposting the video of the incident. Like, that's horrible. That's horrible. Let this man rest in peace. Let his family heal. It's ridiculous. This 2019 mentality of everything needs to be put on your camera phone and put up the internet. No, that's sad. This is an incredible talent, a guy who's been wrestling since 1985, who has given so much to this business. You know, he's really been an ambassador for lucha wrestling, and to lose him in the ring is just devastating for talents all over. You should see the reaction if you go on Twitter and look at his feed. See all the people, the outpouring of love and respect and appreciation for him. An incredible talent, and it's really sad that people feel the need to go and repost the video online. Like, that's just horrible. Just my opinion. But we have nothing but prayers and well wishes go out to the family of famous wrestler Silver King, and hopefully they find some peace of mind in the near future. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We'll run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Our next episode should be Saturday night, where we run down the TLC, the Money in the Bank. I almost said TLC. Oh my goodness, wrong month. The Money in the Bank card. We'll give our predictions, see what your thoughts are. Make sure you tune in. Give us questions during the live show. Special thanks as always go out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com. They produce all the music and sound effects we use in our shows. Today's podcast is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to frowrestling.com and clicking the icon in the middle of the screen to pick up your copy today. And to alleyrepair.com. Contact Alley Repair today for servicing of all your classic skee-ball, pinball, and arcade game needs. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering maybe college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our sister website at Fro Life Planning. That's FRO lifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Mr. Fro. I want to thank you so much for taking a few moments with us today. If you're looking for more wrestling news and rumors, go to www.tsj101sports.com for their latest articles on the world of professional wrestling, or check out my blog in Fro's Corner at frowrestling.com. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night and get ready for Money in the Bank. We'll see you Saturday night for our next live show. Take care. Have a good night, bye.